Welcome everyone to the Elite Series Division 2 here on the Wift Entertainment channel. My name is Daniel and unfortunately you are once again stuck with me all alone here today. A lot of people are on vacation right now. And yeah, but I will not be alone the entire day, fortunately. Fashtana will be joining me later on. And then, yeah, I will not have to entertain you guys alone. I'm just gonna quickly fix the sound for myself because... Okay, perfect. Okay. I would say, let's take a look at what we are going to see today, right? We are going to have FULLCLEAR Esports against PERTINAX in the first game of the day. Then we will have JMGG against Once Upon a Team. Next facing with Slovs and of course Dynasty against Aurora in the last game of the day. And yeah. Okay, perfect. I am able to go back to my own camera now. Yeah, we're testing some new stuff out today in terms of regie. So yeah, I would also say before we start into today's games, let's take a quick look at what the standings are currently looking like. To get a little bit of a better understanding, because we are coming towards the playoffs, of course, and with that 4 upper spots and the 2 lower spots of the league are extremely important, and it's going to be very interesting to see who ends up where. With Slovs, of course, has locked playoffs, I think, 2 or 3 games ago. Still unbeaten at the top. Then we have FULLCLEAR Esports. We have been on a bit of a losing streak lately, but still with 6-4 are in a strong second position. But they will have to defend that today against PERTINAX, because in the end they are only 1 win away from Next Dynasty and Aurora, which are all 3-5-5, and then PERTINAX is also only 1 win away from getting that 5th point. So everything is still open for all of these teams in terms of going to playoffs. And yeah, I think PERTINAX will try to get that first win in the game now. And yeah, it would be a very important one. If we look at what they are playing against in the upcoming games, we can see that on Friday PERTINAX will be facing Next. So once again, super important games when it comes to playoffs. And then next week PERTINAX will be facing JMGG, so maybe a bit of an easier enemy, but JMGG has also shown very strong stuff lately. And then next week Friday they are going to play PERTINAX is going to play Aurora. So yeah, all of these playoff contestants are still going to play against each other. Dynasty is playing what, for example, on next week Friday? They still have to face with Slovs once again. And they are going to face Aurora today and JMGG on Friday. So yeah, a lot of very interesting games coming up, and it's going to be super interesting to see who will make it to playoffs, who is going to be in those top 4. Just quickly gonna show it again. So yeah, as I said, Next, Dynasty, Aurora, PERTINAX, none of them, FULLCLEAR Esports, neither PERTINAX, all of them are still in the one for these playoffs. Even JMGG, if they make a miracle one now and don't lose in a single game in the upcoming 4 games, they still stand the chance to get into playoffs. So we are in week 6, and the only thing that is clear is that with Slovs will be playing playoffs. It's absolutely crazy. And then we got Once Upon a Team still at the bottom of the ladder. If they were to get 4 wins now, they would have 6 points. Probably still not making it to playoffs. But yeah, For them, of course, winning the games is super important as well, because nobody will want to be in those last two positions, because that means you will have to play relegation, of course, against the teams coming from the amateur circuit. So, so yeah, very interesting stuff that we can see here, and we are going to be going into champ select shortly here for our first game between PERTINAX and FULLCLEAR ESPORTS. Now, you can see at the top, FULLCLEAR 6-4 and PERTINAX 4-6. And the first ban will be Kha'Zix against Makela. And I think it was last week, Friday, where Makela got his Kha'Zix, and he performed so strong on the champion. It was absolutely crazy. I know that some people in chat even went completely crazy over his performance. So, yeah. And we got the Clad ban. I think, yeah, we might see just the classic two target bans here in the first rotation against FULLCLEAR, which are, of course, Clad, Mundo, and Hecarim against Gallop and Loslunio. And then we can see the Gragas coming in against PERTINAX. I think both Makela and Yetified are able to play him, so that makes sense. Oh, and I'm getting a little Sloth co-caster. Cute. We can see the Aphelios ban as well. An interesting one in my opinion. Well, makes perfect sense on the current patch. Super strong champion and the Kaiser. So both Hecarim and Mundo are being left open, and I think especially leaving Hecarim open might be is like a very bold play here, to say the least, from PERTINAX. Question is, will FULLCLEAR use their first pick to go for it? No, they are going to secure themselves. Milio, of course, another great power pick here. Now, my little Sloth, what do you have to say about this? Okay. He didn't say anything. When it's going to be an Ivan. Ivan, of course, finally playable again. Has been not banned, but like from the side of Riot, they decided that Ivan cannot be played on past patches because I think there was some kind of bug or something, but that apparently got fixed. And PERTINAX is picking it now for the jungle, most likely, although I know that in Div 1, I think it was Myth who played Ivan mid lane. So, very interesting. Maybe Yetified took some inspiration from there. I think then it was Lawlor, if it was Myth. Or former champion of the Division 2 from Spring Split. Now Ashe, also very strong AD carry on the current patch. Question is, what are you gonna pair it up with against Kog'Maw Milio here on the bot lane? Nice synergy there for sure. And then the Volibear for the jungle. Most likely, of course, Volibear always kind of a flex pick. You can play top lane. And now PERTINAX is having... Okay. It's going to be the Blitzcrank together with the Ashe. So very aggressive bot lane here. because of the Blitzcrank hook and a lot of CC together with the Ash, the arrow. So yeah, if they do want to engage and they are able to hook like either Milio or Kog'Maw, they might be able to burst him down and then win those bot lane skirmishes. So really like that so far. The question is, what are they gonna cook for those last two picks? And I think that's something FULLCLEAR Esports is also thinking really hard on, like, what is going to happen with, like, is Ivan the mid laner? Should we ban mid laners? In the end, they seem to decide that they want to ban a LeBlanc here. Then it's going to be a Ziggs ban and an AZ. Okay, so a lot of bans focusing on the mid lane here. And I think for PERTINAX that definitely makes sense, as we clearly don't know what Mera is going to play. I think if Yetified wants to play the Ivan, then they just completely juked FULLCLEAR Esports there in the champ select. But it's going to be the Victor. Ivan is going to the jungle. The world is still a little bit normal at least. And Victor, of course, a very strong mid laner currently. In general, mages, super strong. And maybe will be facing Syndra, which of course has a little bit of an upper hand in a 1v1 scenario on the mid lane. But then how much could she bring to the team? And FULLCLEAR Esports decides to go for the top laner instead, but still they will have to show their mid lane here as well. It did confirm the Volibear jungle now with that Renekton. It's going to be a Renekton for Lost Lunio, which I think fits his playstyle. And it's going to be the Orianna facing the Victor. Now the question remains, how is PERTINAX gonna answer the Renekton? I see a Shen angle here, like bring a little bit more of something to the team. And in the end they pick a Kayn. Ooh, interesting. Because now the question of course is Kayn going to the jungle? Or is Ivan? Okay, Marin's Kayn did change. Damn, the teams are quite slow at changing today. But I think we can see FULLCLEAR now in their final position. So Renekton top lane, Volibear jungle, Orianna mid lane, and it's going to be Kog'Maw Mulio on the bot lane against what still seems okay. Probably Ivan top lane, Kayn jungle. Very interesting. Very interesting what PERTINAX cooked here for us. Ivan top lane, Kayn jungle, Victor mid lane, Ash bot lane together with the Blitzcrank. To be honest, I think that's a little bit too crazy for me. Like, it's very hard for me to estimate how well the Ivan will work on like a lane, on a side lane. I really like Kayn though. It's a very aggressive jungler, and you can have like very creative routes with him. So I think jungle is something we should also look out for right now with this Kayn. Especially on Makala. Makala, very strong jungler in my opinion. Maybe one of the strongest in the entire league. On his position, of course. So the question is, how much can he do with this game? But it's definitely a pick with which you can carry your team. And I think that comes in handy for a player like Makala. So yeah, definitely something to look out for. In general, the team comp of PERTINAX is pretty aggressive. With the Ashe Blitzcrank bot lane also, of course. Then on the other hand, got some aggressiveness on the top lane. I think Renekton is more aggressive and should win the lane against Ivan. But maybe I'm just completely underestimating Ivan. As I said, very hard for me to predict. And then the rest of the FULLCLEAR Esports team comp is very straightforward. It's like, we want to scale, we want the team fight, we got an Orianna, we got a Kog'Maw. So we got a lot of late game, we got a lot of scaling there, but with the Volibear, we got the Engage with the Renekton. And then you got the Milio. Yeah, I really like FULLCLEAR Esports. It's more of a straightforward classic League of Legends composition. We are going to see once we head into the game, which should be right about now. FULLCLEAR Esports against PERTINAX on the first game of the day. FULLCLEAR on the blue side, PERTINAX on the red side. The 6th against the 2nd, but only 2 games or 2 points between them. It's so close, everything together. I love it. I absolutely love it. And we can immediately see PERTINAX is going as a 5-man squad into the map here. And with a Blitzcrank, very likely that they might be looking for a bit of a play here. And immediately the flash is coming out there. Blitzcrank, no hesitation, and Mary has to react with his own flash. And I think that's a perfectly fine trade for PERTINAX to take here. Like, getting the mid laner's flash out so early, especially with an aggressive jungler like Kayn, that could be pure gold. But of course, you have to follow up on it.
Minions have spawned.
So yeah, excuse me if I'm a little bit more silent sometimes today. Because yeah, as you asked, Zilux, I am solo casting for the first 2 games of today, and Frostana will then be joining me afterwards. But right now his own Prime League team is playing as well. So he's attending or casting those games first, and then he will join us here for the ESLOL. Both junglers have started on the top side here. That means that both of them might be jungling towards the bot lane, but with a Kayn you never know. But at least there will not be going to be a map split or anything. And then we can see the PERTINAX bot lane here immediately showing that they are, or should have, the upper hand in this lane. Pushing out. Showing who's boss. Ooh, and Los Lunia immediately with a lot of damage there onto the Ivan. But will be poked there a lot by the minions as well. I'm really excited to see how well this Ivan top lane pick will work out for PERTINAX here. For Scientist. ET also quite low there. Has to pay attention. Can't eat much more than one more QW combo there from Oriana. Same for Mera though, and Mera has to pay attention because he doesn't have flash, but for now Gallop is there and so is Lost Lunia. Yeti fight in a very bad position. It's going to be first blood here for Mera, as Makla is coming in as well, but what is he gonna do against people? Exactly nothing. And with that, the first play of the game going to full clear, taking a lead on their mid laner, who lost flash early on, but beautifully supported there from the rest of his team. And I think in general, if there's one opening, we might immediately see the next action here on the top lane. Gallop once again coming in, and it's going to be the next kill going to full clear. Gallop really at the top of his game here, doing 2 ganks, one immediately after the other. And that of course something a Volibear is very strong at, those early game ganks. Leolas with the Hextech flash, trying to scare FULLCLEAR there a little bit on the bot lane. That of course the lane they might want to play for, and then immediately the next gank there onto Scientist, who of course TP'd onto the top lane, but what is he gonna do? But however, Makla there now as well will punish the tower dive at least, taking the life out of Luslunio. But once again, FULLCLEAR playing so aggressively right now, trying to get that Renekton ahead there. And he's still there. Yeah, so far, Makala often quite late to the plays. And now Scientist came down to the mid lane. Mera super fast will get out there without an issue. Also has his flash back up now. Ivan's still there. And this looks like a big rotation from PERTINAX towards the bot side. Because even the top laner is coming in towards the bot side here. I mean, he kinda lost his lane, so he will try to punish there on the bot lane. Now a 5-man play there from PERTINAX just to get Sky owned on his Milio. However, are successful in that in the end. And will be granted a Drake in return. Meanwhile, Luslunio using the time cross map to push the top lane and get a plating. Therefore, still keeping up the gold lead. FULLCLEAR here has. Ooh. That means we are going into a quick break. Of course. We will wait that out. And I hope that the player can quickly reconnect to the game. So yeah, a little analysis that I wanted to make before. Something in my opinion that has been lacking a little bit on FULLCLEAR, which is maybe the reason they are on the losing spree they are on, and maybe something PERTINAX should try to exploit, is their meta. Because if we look at past games, FULLCLEAR often was beaten not because the enemy was individually better on the different lanes, but because they were often late to certain objectives. And I mean, now for the Drake you can't really say that, because I mean PERTINAX really committed to making that play, going down with 5 people, and even FULLCLEAR got at least a turret plating in return. But in general, I think that's something we can look at during the rest of the game. How is FULLCLEAR's rotation compared to the ones of PERTINAX, and is that something PERTINAX will be able to use here and yeah, take a profit out of? And there are the Makala fans again in the chat. Happy to see you again. Yeah, what else can we talk about? So far the Ivan pick, not too impressive in my opinion. Hasn't really worked out very well, especially against the Renekton. Now I don't remember what was picked. I think the Ivan, yeah, the Ivan was picked first. Yeah, I think also has been punished quite hardly with the Renekton. In general, Renekton also a super strong pick, underestimated pick also in my opinion. Because it works so well against so many things. Super aggressive champion. He does well in teamfights. Of course, you can have better teamfighters, but he is also able to split push quite well. He brings kind of this all-rounder package I really like in a champion, in a top laner. So yeah. And with that we are going back into the game. Finally, something we can talk about. That is of course if something happens. We can see that FULLCLEAR did rotate their bot lane towards the mid lane here. So very preventive action here. With turret hasn't even spawned yet. But of course will be the next objective to be taken. And then it always makes sense to make that rotation. However, PERTINAX trying to gain something out of the fact that the Orianna is now alone against the bot lane. Of course, that's a risk too. Putting a champion like Orianna against the Blitzcrank. If you hit that Q, he's most likely going to die. And PERTINAX decides to also just completely ignore the fact that FULLCLEAR is going for the Rift Turret here. Gallop even coming towards the mid lane here. Meanwhile, Kayn counter jungling him there. That's exactly what I meant when I said that Kayn can go for some crazy jungle routes. Meanwhile, top lane we have a little bit of a skirmish here. Ivan did put his ultimate, pop his ultimate. Sorry. However, on the map it feels like there's some action on bot lane as well, but we don't want to be shown. Ooh, Leolas might be looking for the hook here, but Mary beautifully dodged that. Juked the prediction there from Leolas. And also, FULLCLEAR still hasn't rotated their bot lane back. Maybe now it looks like they're going down. However, Volibear is there as well, so 4 people of PERTINAX 4 people of full clear against 3 people of PERTINAX, but it's PERTINAX were taking the Anyage and they do get Skyonage wide out of there, but beautiful Orianna ultimate. It's going to be the kill for Kog'Maw here, but Yetifight is coming in as well. They're however eating a lot of damage, going to be double kill here for Nomad. 2-for-1 trade in the end for full clear. Very well done. And then it's Mera who once again stays on the bot lane. They immediately go for the dive there onto Ashe. Gallop knows no mercy at all, and they do even pop the Rift Herald there. Are going to annihilate that tier 1 bot lane tower. And Nomad, the one being positioned to defend the mid lane. Ooh, tower even survives. Interesting. But a lot of gold from those platings going into the pockets there of the mid laner. And now with that, a 4k gold difference already. Or 3, more like 3k. In the 11th minute. And this is looking a little bit tough for PERTINAX. I feel like even though Kayn has 2 kills, so far that Kayn pick didn't work out just as well as PERTINAX was probably hoping. And Gallop currently is just all over the map, enabling his team, making plays. PERTINAX now starting that dragon. And full clear decides to just leave them be, pushing a little bit down the mid lane. And also Lustlunio will be pushing that tier 1 tower right now. Yeah, but what should you meet it with in the current phase of the game? I mean, Ivan, no bad chance. Ooh, play there on the bot lane. Skyonage already very low. Makela now the one going to try for the dive there, but no kill in the end. And meanwhile on the mid lane, FULLCLEAR are the ones to get a kill. And oh, even on bot lane, they do make the return play. They are able to kill off Meister Harp there. Nomad even diving deep there with the healing of Milio. Everything is possible. Such a strong support champion there. And Lustlunio also just completely annihilating Scientist. And yeah, FULLCLEAR just won this game all over the map. Beautifully done. This is going to be a tough position for PERTINAX to get out of. I mean, how are they gonna meet the Renekton? And how are they gonna meet this Orianna Kog'Maw team fight? Ooh, Anyage there maybe with the Ashe Arrow, Blitzcrank flashing in, getting the hook, but unfortunately onto Gallop. Not the right target to be bursted down there. In the end, it was the right instinct, in my opinion, there from PERTINAX. They should try to look to burst one person down right away. Look for those fights with an advantage. Rotation now there towards the Herald to maybe stop that, but they lose Yeti fight. Nomad, so much damage, and now lose Lunia with yet so much damage as well coming there from his Q. Immediately taking out the Ivan there. They do get Gallop now in return, but Lost Lunia still in the backline, still dealing damage. Makla now with the re-engage though, however, how much can he really do? Will he go down? No, Nomad is the one going down. Makla still surviving this. Full clear. Going down a little bit here, losing 3 members to 2 of PERTINAX, but what a chaotic team fight it was. And in the meantime, Mary wasn't even there for full clear. Maybe a little bit too cocky there from full clear to fight without their mid laner. Definitely paid for that, but if we look at the gold difference, pushing for that tier 2 was maybe even worth it, and they are still comfortably ahead in this second game, or in this first game, sorry, of today. PERTINAX does take Rift Herald now. And they are setting up the trap there, but Hextech Flash is just going into the minions. Fuclear knows better than to position themselves there in a hookable position when trying to siege for that tower. And they should be able to tear that down right now. Going to be the 4th tower Fullclear gets here. At to none on the side of PERTINAX. Ooh, Ash Arrow does hit. But Vilio immediately with the ultimate. Gallop a little bit looking for the engage, but Makla now into 3 people. Eats a lot of damage, but also deals a lot of damage. And it is going to be the Volibear falling first here. Junglers being traded, but overall full clear. A lot of damage they got. Question isn't enough. Can PERTINAX contest this? No. Leolas will just be taken out there from Lost Lunio. It's just such a bad feeling when all of a sudden there's a Renekton in your face and you're stunned and you're dead. What are you gonna do about it? PERTINAX, this is such a devastating situation they are in, because they would really need that win in order to make it playoffs. Still got a chance afterwards, but it is a gamble. Now the engage here from Fullclear onto Gallop are able to clear off the jungler there. Oh, but Nomad is dealing so much damage with these auto attacks already. They are setting up the Rift Herald now on the mid lane, but it will be cleared right away. Charge does come true. How much is that really worth? Because I don't know if PERTINAX will be able to touch that tower much more. Ooh, and Makla is running into two people. There will be bursted down from Mara. Full clear, just so strong currently. On all of the position, like there's no position where they are behind. There's very little hope for PERTINAX. Full clear should be able to break their losing streak here today. Now they're even going for Baron. PERTINAX will try to contest it. They do have a solid team fight, but they need to do it right. And Full Clear is reluctant there. In the end, that means that PERTINAX gets the mid lane tower. Ooh, nice hook there onto Skyonet, but he's able to flash out and will get out of the situation alive. Gallop, meanwhile, so tanky that he doesn't even feel Ash arrows anymore. Leslunia very low, does flash out, but gets out of the situation alive. Same cannot be said for Mr. Hub, who will be chased down by Nomad, who has the damage as is missing Yetified so low. And Nomad only one ultimate to take the kill there. I think now Full Clear knows that they can comfortably push for that Baron. Mara even stays in mid lane to make sure PERTINAX doesn't react. 10k gold, and that's not even counting the Baron and the power play that will come with it. That Baron might be the tool now for FULLCLEAR Esports to really break open the base of PERTINAX if they want to. Question is, will they send Leslunia to the side lane? First we're going to see the dragon fight here, which is of course coming up in 20 seconds. And Leslunia will get pulled in there and immediately bursted down, and with that PERTINAX is in a 5v4 situation, but it doesn't matter with such an Orianna ultimate. 4 people being almost immediately annihilated. They're on the side of PERTINAX, but they are still going strong. Beautiful hook there from Leolas, taking out Nomad, the AD carry of Full Clear. And with that, all of a sudden, PERTINAX standing a chance here in this fight. 5v3, sure, all of them are low, but nobody died. You have to actually kill the people. And now the next hook down to Skyonet. Leolas really on fire right now. And now PERTINAX going in for the last kill. Even Mara as well. Only Gallop remaining. And of course Leslunia will respawn by now. And that's the third Drake there from PERTINAX. Very strong from the Blitzcrank player. And maybe it's the hint of a comeback for PERTINAX. That would be the banger here. Because I think we've seen a lot of like smaller comebacks from small leads during this split. But never from such a massive lead. I mean, Full Clear still is 7k ahead in terms of gold. Now, of course, everything is calming down a little bit because Full Clear just lost their Baron on every position as well during that fight. Very important to keep that in mind. I think Gallop might still have it. Oh, and we have another break coming up. So you can see my face again. Oh, beautiful. No? Okay, let's try to think about the game. Let's try to think really hard. What can we talk about it? I mean, we did see a beautiful last fight there from PERTINAX, and maybe, just maybe, that's a sign that they still have a chance of coming back. But FULLCLEAR just showed such strong early game here. They are still very, very much ahead. And I think if they got like a clean team fight, and if Leolas just misses one hook, it doesn't go the way it went in the last fight. So I'm still skeptical to say that this might be a comeback for PERTINAX, but who knows, who knows. I mean, they got the tools, they got an Ashe, they got a Victor, they definitely got some scaling as well going for them, and then that Kayn also still has much more potential than what we have seen so far. Once he really gets the damage to burst something like Nomad, like maybe even the Orianna here, these fights might look different, because I think the way the team comp of PERTINAX works, of course, is yeah, they want to team fight, but they want to team fight by picking one after the other out, like completely out. And that's what we saw in the last fight, and it worked quite well. Now maybe the next one. Leolas does get the hook out, but onto Gallop. That of course is not the right target. And beautiful ultimate again from Orianna. Those are just so crazy. But no follow-up damage there to actually finish off people. Once again, 4 people low, but nobody died on the side of PERTINAX. But of course this time FULLCLEAR has enough members and enough health to push basically over that. They will get 2 turrets here. Makler, however, trying to look for sneaky play there. Once again the hook, but it once again hits Gallop. They do get him now, but they trade him for their own jungler. By now, the sub also dealing decent damage. FULLCLEAR got all they wanted, all they came for. Yeah, I think this isn't over for PERTINAX. I think they might still have a chance, but they have to really look for a pick before they engage. If they are able to get either Mara or Mara's ultimate out before the fight starts, they might stand a chance. Even though they are as behind as they are. Gallop playing really aggressively there, even getting pulled in a little bit more. Does eat a little bit of damage there, but Makler also will be eaten there, however still gets out alive, using his ultimate. Now with the redemption, everybody on FULLCLEAR healing up a little bit, but it's not enough. Nomad will be annihilated, they're traded off for Gallop. Sorry, it was Makler, of course, who died alongside Gallop. So once again the 2 junglers being traded here. And with that of course both teams still in the same position. before doing dragon. This guy owned super low on that video, but so is Leolas. And he's the one that needs to land a hook here. Mary, an ultimate. Oh no, Orianna ultimate is already out. Oh, but she did get Leolas there now, and now the engage. Double kill for the Orianna. And in the end, they will be gifted with the dragon on top of that. Denying soul to PERTINAX, very important here. But these fights are not looking like one team is 10k gold ahead. You can't tell me that this is what a team fight looks like when there's such a gold difference. Absolutely crazy how well PERTINAX is able to keep up here. Quickly now on the Baron, of course. Again the Orianna ultimate, and it is enough to kill off Mr. Harp. And with that, the only chances that Makala will try to go for the steal, but it doesn't work out. Gallop, just too safe there on this smite. With redemption even healing up. They are really going for the push now. They know two members of PERTINAX are down. They want to get that inhibitor before taking their reset. Question is, are they gonna push for more? Mr. Hub will be up in a few. Ooh, but going very deep there. They do get Leolas right away. Ooh, Wellington doing so much damage there. With that, once again, two people on death timers. And FULLCLEAR Esports even got the first Nexus Tower. FULLCLEAR is taxing the enemy jungle there. That, of course, if you are the retreating team, something you can always try to go for. If you know you got time with your retreat and the other team is still occupied with clearing the minions in base, you can try to tax their jungle. Make sure that's empty, because with that you have taken, of course, also resources from the enemy. And now maybe Lustlooney in a very tough position there. Will be catched there by the 4 people of PERTINAX, but he's still dealing so much damage, almost getting Makala. In the end, the kill goes to Victor. But meanwhile, FULLCLEAR pushing on the bot lane. We'll get another tower, we'll probably get the inhibitor. Now the rest of PERTINAX is there. If that arrow would have hit it, they might have looked for the engage there. Now we have both teams waiting about that dragon pit, as he's going to be spawning in about a minute. Quite early for that fight. There is the hook, there is the kill onto Nomad. Very strong target. However, a lot of damage. Gallop is in the back line, but so is Makala. trying to get the Renekton out there, and that works out for PERTINAX. Why even taking the Volibear there as well. In the end, it's a 1-for-3 trade here. Something PERTINAX will take every day. And it is really Leolas on this Blitzcrank making the difference here between if teamfights are going to be a win or a loss by who. Not if, but who he's grabbing. Because if you grab Galabin, that's just a win for the team. Ooh, however, Mary now maybe with the backdoor there. Does come in a lot of damage onto Scientist. By the way, does get the kill there. Even Mr. Hub also quite low already. And he has to take care of those minions now. Mera and Skyonage are pushing. Are they gonna just backdoor that Nexus now? No, in the end, PERTINAX is able to somehow manage between fending of Mera and Skyonage and the minions, but their Nexus is so low. And Makela even manages to get the Drake. Cross map, that's wonderfully done from PERTINAX, but of course Makela will be called out now. And now 4v4 is Galab able to maybe is FULLCLEAR able to maybe finish off the game. They do get out Yetified here. Hook from Leolas was not on a good target. Nomad still alive there. Mr. Hub doing as much as he can. Beautifully done. Getting the Kog'Maw at least. And dealing a lot of damage onto FULLCLEAR. And we can see that PERTINAX is really fighting here. They won't give up any way. But it's just a few auto attacks onto this Nexus and the game will be over. And there we have it. FULLCLEAR Esports takes the win in a game which should have been over about 5 minutes ago. I mean, they had this massive lead from the early game, but PERTINAX just wouldn't give up. Very strong performance from them, in my opinion, as well. Okay. I think we should have an interviewee ready, and it will be Gallop. Gallop.
Hey!
Hey, Gallop!
Hey,
how are
how's
you?
It going? What?
So, how are you?
Oh, I'm happy that we won. Obviously, we've been like on a bit of a downward trajectory. It's been rough, like especially losing to Jormungand last week. Like, and in that fashion, we lost. It was a hard game to play, and they really smashed us.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you got a win again, so you're back on the trajectory towards playoffs, which is very good. How did you experience the game? Because in my opinion, it was still a tough one towards the end, even though you had a massive lead.
I feel like the game, the way we played it at the early game, it's like we were allowing them to get the dragons, really prioritizing the first herald, so we could put the gold onto our side laners, Orianna and Renekton. So the game shouldn't have been as tough, but we were like, I was unable to tank a couple of hooks, and the Blitzcrank was just an assassin hooking from over the walls, and they were like fighting the fights 5 versus 4. So it was a bit of a misplay from all of us. Like we didn't have the proper vision prepared, but I feel like they had a jungler on top. It should have been easier.
Yeah, I think the Blitzcrank really posed you a little bit of problems there. But let's talk a little bit about your standings. You're currently second. You have been second for a long time. Do you think you will be able to maybe even take the win against into playoffs, or what are your goals for the rest of the split, basically?
So I think we're definitely going to be second coming into playoffs. I mean, Rift have just been unstoppable. For now, we're just looking into securing second, and I think the most interesting will be Rift loss. We're going to be playing a lot against them if we get second. Is it the same format as the last split for the playoffs, where first and second play?
I think it should be the same format. Yeah.
So especially that the fact that we're gonna end the season, the split, with our game versus them, and then we're obviously gonna be second and they're first, so we're gonna be playing them in playoffs again, and then I mean, Riftoffs are gonna lose, and then we'll play them in the playoffs finals, right?
Okay, so you want to do the Weepers one of last year a little bit. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Gallop, for your time, and I think we here on stream are going to go into a quick break, and then we see each other for the next game.
Yeah.
So, see you soon.
See you. Thank you.